Okay, so just a disclaimer, this is another throwaway video, and what that essentially is doesn't mean it's not worth a watch, alright? Don't click away just yet, you eager beavers. That's not what this means. It just means that I'm releasing this mainly for the algorithm because I have two main videos in this channel that I actually want people to check out. I mean, I want you all to check out this video and the Weddle one as well. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that the two videos, so me defending the Phoenix Suns, and then so that's titled, I believe, Dear Suns Haters, and the other one is a cool little game where you can find out who your NBA comp is. I encourage you to check that out. Essentially, it's a software I created, and it's available for download in the description box. It's just an Excel file, so no viruses or anything. But essentially, you grade yourself on 13 different attributes on a scale 1 to 5. Simple as that. And the software will do all the heavy grunt work for you and spit out your NBA comparison, right? I think it's pretty cool, right? I got Paul George. Apparently, I'm a defensive scorer, so that was pretty cool to see. And if you want to see who your NBA comp is, all you gotta do is download that Excel file. It's completely free to download. I don't charge anything. It's just a passion project of mine, and you can go ahead and play around with that software with you and your friends to see who's who in your little group. Right now, there's 25 players in that pool. More all about the software is covered in the video, but just so you know, that's version 1. I plan on releasing a lot more versions, but that's it for the marketing spiel. Let's jump right into this video. So this one's a fun one. I know the draft hasn't happened yet for the NFL, but essentially what I'm doing is I'm predicting how I think teams are going to do next year, right? And this is pre-draft, so things can change. But for now, based on where teams are at this moment, so this is right before the Super Bowl, here's my predictions. So to start off, the Niners, they just ended on such a poor note, right? They got blown out by the Eagles because of injuries. But I think they're still Super Bowl contenders, and I don't think many people are going to argue with me on that, right? That team is just so good. They have everything they need. And they've brought up a very interesting question. Which QB out of the 3 are you going to start next year, right? So I would be very interested to follow the Niners. But I think they are, once again, going to be Super Bowl contenders next year. Granted, they keep all their pieces. And yeah, I don't think anybody's really going to argue with me on that right now. The Bears. I think they're going to be in, you know what? Hot take on this one. I think they're going to be a 9-7 win team. And here's why. I think that the pieces are starting to come together. I think they're going to make a big splash this offseason for wide receiver. That's my take. I think they're going to come after D-Hop or something. I think that they're going to draft well in this draft. I think they're going to get maybe a defensive player. Maybe they trade that first overall pick for huge draft capital or maybe an elite player. Who knows? But I think the Bears' future is very, very bright, and I think they're exciting to watch. The Bengals are going to be Super Bowl contenders again next year, in my opinion. Granted, once again, they keep all their players. Look, they are just such a stacked team and such a likable team. They're my second favorite team in the NFL. I think Burrow's great. I think Mixon's great. I think Jamar Chase is great. And I think they're just going to get better and better as the years go. And Zach Taylor is a fucking genius. All you Zach Taylor haters out there, shut the fuck up. That dude is a genius. So, honestly, I think the Bengals are going to be Super Bowl contenders next year. 14 plus wins. That team is so solid. The Bills. Not there. I think the Bills are going to be playoff hopefuls. Look, they keep making the playoffs every year just to fail, and I can't say they're a Super Bowl contender anymore. This year, I thought they were going to win it all, and they didn't. They fucked it up. So I think what they need to do is they need to take a step back and think about what's screwing them over so much, right? Play calling is a big issue for them. Right, their defense is so inconsistent. I don't even know what to say about it anymore, and it's just a lot needs to change. And Josh Allen needs to be held accountable, guys. Yeah, you can say it's not his fault all you want, but it was his fault to a certain extent. It's always the QB's fault in a little bit if they lose a game, right? It's never not the QB's fault. All right, the Broncos are going to be a playoff miss team, and I genuinely believe that. They just got Sean Payton. I think he's gonna click with Russell Wilson. And I think they have the pieces, but I think they need a year for Sean Payton and Russell Wilson to kind of get used to working with each other. so that they become good. Now, I do think they could also be playoff hopefuls, but I just don't see them going lower than 7 wins. They have all the pieces they need to succeed. I don't see them not succeeding. And they get Javonte back next year, so that should be fun to see. This one's tough for me. I think the Browns are going to be mediocre. Look, I just don't see what there is to like about the Browns, right? They have Chubb and Amari, but other than that, their offense is so mediocre, right? Deshaun Watson, and here's a hot take, I don't think he's going to develop into who they want him to be. I just don't think he's going to be that good. And their defense, right? All they have is Garrett and Ward. Unless they make some big changes, that shit's kind of broken too. So, honestly, the Browns, they're going to be mid next year, in my opinion. I think they're going to miss the playoffs. I think they're going to be a 6-4 win team with a top 10 overall pick next year. That's just my take. The Bucks, I think the Bucks are going to be a playoff miss. I don't think Brady's staying there, but they have so many weapons that I just don't see them not at least making a push for the playoffs. But I can't justify putting them any further because they barely made it this year, and just how competitive the league is getting, I don't think they're making it next year. So I think they're playoff misses, and that's even if Brady stays. They have weapons, they just don't have a coach, and they don't have chemistry. It's as simple as that. And their QB is showing his age now. Overthrowing receivers, that's never nice to see. The Cardinals. Let's talk about the Cardinals. The Cardinals are a 3-0 team. They're going to be shit next year. All right? Here's my little rant about the Cardinals, all right? Screw them, all right? Fuck the Cardinals. I'm done. I'm actually done, and I mean it. I've been a Cardinals fan for as long as I can remember, right? I remember watching the Fitz days. I remember watching the Palmer days. I didn't get to see Warren in the Super Bowl because I was too young to watch that, right? So I never even got to see my team in the Super Bowl. But the Cardinals are so... You know what? No, I'm going to lose it. Because... we were supposed to get Sean Payton. And what do? We sat on our hands and did nothing. Like always. We didn't make any moves during this year's offseason. And we didn't make any moves for a head coach yet. I don't know who our head coach is. We were supposed to get Payton or Ryans. Both of them are gone because we decided to procrastinate. And now we're interviewing the Bengals defensive coordinator. And the Bengals defense wasn't even all that good this year. So... I'm just fucking done with this team. And we might not even have a quarterback for the start of next year, and we might not even have D-Hop. So, what the fuck? I just... fuck this team. Fuck Arizona Sports. Phenomenal. Alright, the Chargers. Let's move on from the Cardinals, because this is a way for me. I'm controlling my pain so much. There's definitely a possibility for me to blow up on this video, and I don't want that to happen. The Chargers, let's put them in playoff miss. It's going to be a controversial take, I know, but I just, nah. Let's put them in the hopefuls. I think that they're going to be a solid team. I think they're going to figure things out. I just think Herbo's a little overrated, and I think their coach is kind of bad. But other than that, they have all the pieces they need to succeed. I can't put them any lower than that, even if I wanted to. But they just need to stop choking. That's the end of that. I don't think we even talk about this team. The Colts are going to be a... It depends on the draft, but currently, pre-draft situation, I think they're going to be a 3-0 team. They just weren't good this year, and they don't look promising for what's to come next year either. It's just not a good situation if you're a Colts fan, and I don't blame you for being pissed, but there you go. The biggest thing for them is to start actually getting young QBs and not investing in corpses. That's a start. The Commanders are going to be a mediocre team. I think Rivera is a problem, and I don't think they're doing anything to change that at the moment, at least not that I know of. They don't have a solid quarterback. They only have Terry McLaurin, who's basically their team, and that's basically it. I don't think they're bad enough to be considered complete shit, but I think they have a lot to figure out as well. The Cowboys, I'd say, are playoff hopefuls. They have all the pieces they need. Dak just needs to be better. I said it. Dak needs to be better, and they need to figure out the running back situation. Actually, the dual-headed running back situation works is basically just Dak. I think it's just Dak. He throws way too many picks. That's the thing. The Dolphins are, I think, are playoff hopefuls as well. I think they're a solid team. They have the best receiving core in the league, in my opinion. They have a solid quarterback. They have a solid tight end. They have a solid defense. They have a decent O-line. They have a phenomenal coach. That team is phenomenal. I think they're going to be good next year. The Eagles, I see them as another Super Bowl contender. I love Hurts. He's my second favorite quarterback in the league, behind K1, obviously. And that's that. I think they're going to be Super Bowl contenders. And I know I have 4 teams in Super Bowl contenders, but I don't know who to pick out of those 4, honestly. If I had to remove 2, though, it would be the Niners and the... Yeah, I can't do that. It would be probably the Niners and the Chiefs, honestly. I think the Bengals gave the Chiefs a run for their money. I think I wanted to see Bengals and Eagles, but not happening, I guess. Falcons are going to be a 3 or 0 win team. They don't have anything going for them. They don't have a quarterback, for all I know. They have Desmond Ridder, but is he really somebody you're going to be excited about? I don't think so. And Kyle Pitts, he just needs to stop being a bum and screwing over people's fantasy teams. New York. New York's going to be a playoff hopeful team. I think they're solid, and I think they're just going to get better and better. I think Brian Daboll's a genius. I think they need a better quarterback, though. I know Danny Dimes was decent this year, but I think if they want to make a genuine Super Bowl push, they need a better quarterback. Jacksonville, I think, is going to miss the playoffs. I don't think they were supposed to make the playoffs this year, and I don't think they're making next year. I like Jacksonville. I like them a lot, but they need to improve a little bit more for me to consider them playoff hopefuls. I like that they got Ridley, though. That's a good move. The Jets, I think, another playoff miss. This is looking a lot like this year's playoff race. But I think the Jets were very, very close. I think... You know what? No. Hot take, I think the Jets make it next year. I think the Jets get a better quarterback. I think the Jets have good pieces. They have Garrett Wilson. I think Brees is going to be fully healthy next year. Their defense is super solid. I think Jets are one of the most underrated teams in the league. I like them, and I think they're going to get some good player from the draft. I like the prospects of them being good next year. The Lions, I think, are playoff hopefuls. I think they're going to be good next year. I think they have a decent pick this year. I think they're going to get a good player from the draft. And I like the pieces they have. I like their coach. I like everything about them. I think they're playoff hopefuls. The Green Bay Packers, I think, are going to miss the playoffs next year. Is that too hot of a take? I don't think Rodgers is that good this year. They still haven't shown any signs of getting a new receiver. And their defense was so hot and cold. I think they missed the playoffs. Panthers are going to be a mediocre team. I think they're going to make some kind of move. I don't know what it's going to be. But my take is they're going to make some move that's just going to make them mediocre. There's not much to say about them. Same with the Pats. I just don't see the shine in the Pats. They have the most mediocre quarterback in the league, and they have no good receivers. So I think a mediocre rating is good for them. The Raiders, I think, are another mediocre team. Look, they have pieces. They just need a coach, right? And I know they're trying to get rid of Derek Carr, but that's weird to me. I think he was fine. But I think they're going to be a mediocre team because they're going to have a new head coach and shit might go wrong. Who knows? The Rams, I think they're going to be playoff misses, right? I think everybody's regressing on that team. They were really injury-riddled this year, but I don't know. I just don't see much in them right now. Ravens, I think, are going to be playoff misses. I think Lamar Jackson's overrated. I don't think they're even going to have Lamar next year. And they don't have a receiver. I think they're going to miss the playoffs. The Saints are another team that's going to miss the playoffs. They got some draft capital from the Broncos, but they just don't have any pieces on that team. It's just not looking good for the Saints. Seahawks, I think they're going to be mediocre. I think they're going to crash back down to earth. I know they were really good this year, but I think Geno got a little overrated. And I think the NFC was so weak this year that the Seahawks managed to squeak in. But I just don't see them sustaining this next year. Steelers, I think they're going to be shit. I think they're going to be mediocre as long as they have Tomlin. They have pieces. They just need better pieces. They don't have good pieces. They have Tomlin. Texans are going to be 3-0 win team. They're probably going to have young learning curve. Titans, mediocre. Just because of Derrick Henry. Other than that, they're shit. Vikings, I think, are playoff hopefuls. I think they're a solid team. But that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.